Hola, ¿qué tal? Y bienvenidos a un episodio especial del podcast de Golden State Warriors Latinoamérica. Hoy estamos con un invitado muy especial para nosotros, directamente de Estados Unidos, que es Sam Esfandiari. Sam es el creador de uno de los podcasts de Warriors más importantes del mundo y también es un referente muy importante en Warriors Twitter, así que estamos muy contentos con tenerlo acá. Debido a esto, la entrevista de hoy va a ser en inglés, pero no se preocupen que el video va a estar subido a YouTube con los subtítulos. Sam, welcome to Warriors Latam.
Thank you, Mateo. I appreciate it. I'm excited. You know, you guys are my favorite. You know, I watch all the games in your guys' room. It's where I go
Really?
to. Well, okay, most of the games, not all, but it's my favorite Warriors room to watch games in on playback. You guys have great energy, and it's a nice way to escape the toxicity of American Warrior Twitter.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us. Me personally, this is very special because I've been following you and Andy and the Ladder post for almost 10 years now. So it's a great honor for me to finally have a conversation with you. So this is very cool for me.
Awesome.
Well, to start off, after last night game against the San Antonio Spurs, thank you for another masterclass from Steph Curry. The Warriors are 7 wins and 6 losses. What do you think about this start so far for the Warriors?
Up and down. If you told me Steph was going to get sick and miss like 10 days with, I don't know what he had, some flu, and they were going to try to use different lineups instead of what worked last year, I would say this is probably what I would have expected. And all things considered, it's okay. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that they wanted to try different lineups at the beginning of the season. But, we saw last night against the Spurs that, push comes to shove. They know what works for them, and they can always go back to it if they need to. And that was nice. That was nice to see, because it was a little frustrating in the early part of the season where you're seeing these lineups that don't make sense, and you're seeing kind of Moses Moody not play as much as he deserves to. And the results were what you'd expect, kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, I agree. It's been really frustrating. We know that Steve early on the season likes to switch the rotations a little bit, but I agree that ever since the Jimmy trade, they found some kind of solution that works for them. I think it's about a lot of this start is about trying to fit Jonathan Kuminga in the rotation.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about him further on, but I agree it's been frustrating. But everything considered, I think they are in the right spot so far.
Yeah, I agree. The Warriors are interesting, and maybe more interesting for you guys since you're Argentinian, and obviously football is the number one sport for you guys. But so much of what they do is based on rhythm and timing, and the same principles to. I mean, he loves to reference Barcelona and Pep Guardiola and Messi and those teams. But it's so true because not every good player can fit into how they want to play, and then sometimes worse players or like less talented players actually make them better because they all play in the same rhythm. So I think last night against the Spurs was like the perfect example of that. That's an excellent team. That's a great team. Wembanyama obviously is going to, win an MVP one day, and he's, terrifying. It's funny watching like Draymond guard him. He's like a foot shorter than him, but it's kind of like gets back to what Steve Kerr's always said, which is the collective beats the individual, So if you get everyone working together, and that's where you see, Steph show how he's the best player in the world when they're all working together in the same system.
Yeah, you can really tell when certain someone is on another level of play that doesn't fit what the Warriors are trying to do. You can tell that the flow is not the same. The vibes, I like to tell, are not the same in the team. So I think that if they stick to what they know, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. And I liked the lineup they started last night. I liked Will Richard getting the start. He's been awesome. He's been a great find for them. And then Moses Moody, like I know he had the injury in camp, so that's part of the reason he didn't start the year playing as many minutes as he should. But at this point, it's like he's got to be in the lineup at all times. Like he's got to be in their their starting lineup, their closing lineup. Whenever like it's a close game and you need your most important players on the court, he's pretty much always got to be out there now.
He's been so good in the perimeter defense and also always stay ready, knocking down shots. We saw how last night he practically saved the first half for us because if Moody didn't show up, I think we were gonna be down like 20 or more by halftime. But I think he's very important.
He's really sped up his game because that's really what it is with the Warriors. Like Steph and Draymond play so fast. Everything's like half second, bing, ping, ping. And if you can't play at the same mental speed as them,
yes,
you kind of ruin everything for them. And for years, Moses Moody would like sometimes, then other times he'd be confused. It feels like this year, finally, everything slowed down for him and he got it. And I mean, it's like I said, he just looks like he fits around them. He's not Klay Thompson, but it reminds me like of a mini Klay Thompson where he knows exactly how to move. He knows where his shots are. He doesn't try to do things that he's not, supposed to do, and he just plays in the flow of the team.
Yes, I agree. Moving on, we're gonna come back to the Warriors, but now I want to talk about some funny stuff. Twitter likes to talk about the famous Warriors killers. When ever since the dynasty started, a rotation player from a team comes to Chase Center or Oracle Arena and have the nights of their life, basically. Draymond has said that it's because they grew up watching the Warriors and want to beat them so bad that they are kind of motivated to have those kind of nights. But why do you think this happens so often?
It's always different types of players, but sometimes it's a good matchup. The one I always think about, do you remember Will Barton?
Yes,
he played for the Nuggets and the Blazers, but for my mind, more the Nuggets. He was always a problem for them. He was always a problem for them. Boris Diaw was always a problem for Draymond. Not as much scoring, but just everything else. Aaron Gordon is the current Warrior killer right now. And in his case, I think it's obvious because he grew up in the Bay Area. He still trains here. I mean, everyone around the Bay Area has known of him since he was 14 or 15 years old. So I just think he's one of those guys. It's like he's going home. It's a little, his family's there. His friends are there. He gets just a little more excited to get it going. So that one makes sense. But yeah, the other one I always think about is Will Barton. It's a lot of Denver players.
A lot of Denver.
I don't know why, but it's a lot of Denver players.
Lonnie Walker comes to mind. That game 6, I think it was. That was devastating. Dennis Schroeder always liked to play against us. But I think it's a combination, as you said, Aaron Gordon being from the Bay, wanting to show up. But I think a lot of players really hate us because we dominated so much and basically have the nights of their life. So I think that way can be told.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's, certain players' games also kind of lend themselves to being better against the Warriors than others. So I think, a lot of it's internal motivation, but I think it's a thing for every team. There's always like that one guy where you're like, he's not that good, but against us, he's like LeBron. I don't know what's going on,
I think quick guards are always a tough matchup for the Warriors. Andrew Nembhard comes to mind. His rookie year to Chase Center, he dropped like 30 plus. I think,
and that's before he made a name for himself. That's before, like, because now everyone knows who he is because they went to the finals last year. But yeah, you're right. Like I remember they came in and we assumed the Warriors were just going to beat them comfortably. Yes. And then he came off the bench and just no one could guard him. He had like 35.
Yes.
Isaiah Joe's another good one.
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of players are now very good players. Aaron Gordon is the perfect example. But I think, it's crazy because I don't feel like we have those kind of players beside, I don't know, some good nights from Moody or Kuminga, but I never think we never had those kind of players.
No, Steve Kerr doesn't like those type of players. He's not a. I mean, he really is like Pep Guardiola reincarnated for basketball. He prioritizes passing and cutting over scoring talent. Always has. So he'd rather have guys like Pods or obviously like Iguodala or these guys who are just smart players who know how to play with everyone, but they don't really want to shoot the ball 20 times.
We're Richard now. I think he's a pretty good catcher.
Yeah. And so it's always like they could use another score. They can always use one more score, but I don't know. He's been the coach for 11 years now. At this, I don't even argue it. I just it just is what I know. I know his style, it's his style. It's who Steph wants to play for. I think everyone loses sight of that. Like Steph would, this is the style Steph wants to play more than anything. And obviously he's, the greatest warrior of all time. If that's what he wants, you just kind of got to go with it, even if I don't agree with every decision.
Yes, sometimes you scratch your head with some Steve's decision, but you gotta live with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Moving on, I want to talk about Steph and Jimmy. Ever since the Warriors trade for them, for Jimmy, sorry, they are like 30 and 12, I think, ever since last season. And I never seen such different players complement each other so well. What do you think?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's kind of funny because Steph obviously shooting. He loves to play fast, movement, all of that. And Jimmy is, he doesn't really shoot the ball except for last night. But, free throws, get to the rim, slow. He likes to slow the game down. He's very methodical, So, but they do complement each other from that perspective because they're both so smart and they know how to adjust to each other. Like they're good at opposite things, so it actually helps the team. Yes. I don't know where do I rank? They're definitely a top 10 duo in the NBA. Maybe top 5. I'd have to think about it. Let's see who. Oklahoma City. I mean, maybe Shea and Chet, or Shea and Jalen Williams. Really, I think of them more as a trio. That trio is terrifying. Jokic is amazing, but I don't. Jamal Murray's too inconsistent. It's more just Jokic, right? Giannis and Ryan Rollins, maybe.
Well, another Warriors leader.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Rollins is looking like he might be that guy, but no, he doesn't. Giannis doesn't have kind of an established guy to play with. Yeah, they might be top 5. I'm just trying to go through it. I mean, Luka and Austin Reeves, maybe. Luka and LeBron hasn't played well together, but they also haven't played together this year, so it's too early to say.
Yeah, they have talent that you cannot rule them out already.
Houston is more of just the 5-man unit is really good. It's not like a duo type of thing. Like it's not like KD and Şengün or KD and Amen Thompson. It's more just they have 5 or so good players. Who are we forgetting? Philly, no. New York. I'm not I'd rather have Steph and Jimmy than Brunson and Cat. Not even a question. Maybe Cleveland's multiple guys. I mean, I like Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley though. Yeah, no. The more I think about it, you're right. They're a top 5 duo just because of how the other good teams and the teams that might be better than the Warriors, they're less dependent on like 2 guys. They're more of a 4 or 5 man dependent. Now, obviously the Warriors need everyone, but it's kind of like it doesn't work if these 2 are not there, period.
Yeah, we kind of saw that last night. It was the perfect display of this duo. Steph going lights out and Jimmy just controlling the game. Obviously, Draymond was amazing on the defensive end, but made some questionable decision on offense.
Well, Wembanyama is gonna be tough for Draymond. He's already undersized. He already has an issue finishing, and then he put this tower over him. That's kind of
he blocked his free 2 times yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's in some ways it's kind of the perfect Draymond game. Like he was 1 for 10. The offense was terrible. And still, if you watch the game, you'd be like, he was the second best player on the entire floor. He took Wemby out of the game, and he did everything defensively. He had his hands all over the game on every aspect except for scoring.
He's so funny to watch. So funny.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
If you were to compare Draymond to a football player, who would you compare him to?
That's so tough. Oof. Maybe the chat can help me.
Gattuso is a good one. I was gonna say Mascherano.
I think Mascherano is very good. Also, Kanté. Yeah. I think that defensive midfielder is the perfect person.
Who's always on the verge of a red card. Yeah, walking the line pretty closely.
Argentina, Rodrigo de Paul, you could say.
Okay.
Pablo Pérez. No, I think these two are amazing. They've been playing amazing ever since the trade, and I cannot understand people that question them. I just cannot.
Too many games. Too much time to think of dumb things to say.
Yes, I agree. Okay, moving on to the next topic. We got to talk about Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. Starting out with Kuminga, it's been a very long and frustrating off-season for us Warriors fans, not knowing what was going to happen to him. Finally, he sings an extension. I think he looked pretty good the first couple of games, but now it's going back as it was in the past. What do you think about his start so far?
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, you have to give him credit for trying to buy in. You know, after my biggest concern with the offseason was that he was good. You know, there's going to be kind of drama in the locker room, and that doesn't appear to be the case. He's shown up, he works hard, he does his thing. On the other hand, the last game kind of shows how it's kind of like a square peg in a round hole. He's just it's not the right fit. He doesn't play the Warriors style of basketball, and I don't think he ever will, to be honest with you. So I think going forward, his role on this team is going to be kind of what it was last year, which is he can help them as a scoring threat off the bench, particularly when Steph's off the court. Even if it's a different style, like it's not the worst thing in the world if they just let him go one-on-one against backup units for a few minutes. But I think it's kind of like one of those things where, you know, the defense, it's still a mess. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. And the speed at which he plays mentally, like he just thinks the game in a different way than the Warriors. So, you know, when they signed him, I think we all know they're looking to trade him in January. We'll see. But yeah, that's kind of where eventually he's going to end up on another team where he gets to have the ball in his hands all game. And then we'll see if you can actually win playing that style. I have my doubts, but it's going to happen one way or another.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He just plays on a completely different rhythm than what the Warriors want to do. He dribbles the ball way too much. He slows down the offense way too much. He just want to go to his move, and his dribbling is not there yet. I don't know if it will ever be there. He's not a consistent shooter. He's been a pretty good finisher, I would say, but he's been having trouble getting to the rim because he's been having so many turnovers that it's been kind of frustrating to watch him cook.
Yeah,
as everyone say.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to slow the game down, you better be supremely skilled as a ball handler. Like LeBron likes to slow the game down. Luka, Doncic, they like to slow the game down. But you see what they can do in a slow half court, you know? So they can do it. He doesn't have that type of ball handling. So I think the Warriors are right for pushing him. Like, you should play faster. It'll be easy. Everything will be easier for you if you play faster. But I don't know. It's a mental thing. You know, everyone's different. Everyone thinks the game differently. So he's going to get moved, and, you know, best of luck elsewhere, but it's clearly not the right fit.
I agree. What about Podziemski so far? I want to talk about his quotes saying he wants to be better than Steph and that he could have been.
He talks too much.
I like the confidence. I don't like that he's not that kind of player to make those type of statements.
Yeah, he's weird because he talks like he's, like a star.
Yes.
But then when you watch him play, and I'm not saying he doesn't make mistakes, but he plays like a role player more often than
Yes.
not. Like he's not afraid to get dirty. He's not afraid to defend, to rebound, to do those things. Um, to be honest with you, I've been kind of disappointed in his play. I thought, given how he ended last year, where his jump shot, his 3-point shot really started looking consistent and good. He shot 42% for the second half of last year from three on a lot of shots. He really looked pretty good. I thought he was going to grow from there, and it's kind of gone the opposite way. The shot's still, at some point he'll get hot, but it's still kind of inconsistent. Some games it's there, some games it's not. And so that's been kind of disappointing. I do think it's still possible for a leap from him, but for him to take a leap, it's all the jump shot, because he's not, he's never going to be like super athletic. He's never going to have like some explosive dunk or anything like that. It's going to be, can the shot be so good that he can be crafty and use it to kind of fake out defenders, get in the lane? Kind of like Austin Reeves is a good example. And Austin Reeves is much more skillful, but Austin Reeves is not fast. But he's such a good shooter and ball handler that he can leverage the shot to get into the lane and do other things. So I thought we were going to see that from Pods this year. So far, it just kind of looks like what we saw last year, which is like one game you see it, 2 games you don't see it, up and down. But I think it's still possible. Like he's still just in year 3 at this point. I wouldn't rule out a leap from him. I just would caution how big of a leap. Like I don't think he's going to be the White Ohtani. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. I think he could be a better, I think he could average 15 to 18 points though, if that makes sense, and it has to do with the shot being more consistent.
Yes, I agree. I don't think he has the skill set to be a star, to be honest. But as you said earlier, he has the IQ to play in the Warrior system. So I think he's going to be fine. The shooting, I think, is kind of confidence from him. He's got to be confident to take the shots, and he will start making them.
It's such a skill-based league. To be a star, you have to have at least one skill that you do at like the highest level, and he doesn't have any one specific. He's like one of those guys who's kind of good at everything. He's more of I have no weaknesses than I have strengths,
Yes.
He's not going to turn the ball over. He's a pretty good passer. He can shoot it a little bit, but he doesn't do any of those things at like an exceptional level.
I agree. What do you think about his defense so far this season?
I think it's been good. He's not a great defender because he has limitations, but he's a better defender than he gets his reputation. He's not afraid to get physical with guys. Like he does, to be honest, he does like a lot of like fouling that the officials don't catch, but like that's not a terrible thing. Like Caruso is like, and Drew Holiday are like the masters of just fouling you every game and getting away with it. I'm not saying he'll ever be on that level because those are like 2 of the best, but I do think he's able to defend his position for the most part. And like, you just can't ignore the fact that like their best defensive lineups tend to have him out there. So
I agree.
Does that mean he's a great defender? No, but it's kind of like his offense. It's more that he's not bad at it. Like it's not a massive weakness for him.
Yes, I really appreciate him trying at least and being physical, as you say. Defense most of the time is just effort, so I think that's a good thing to have, and I think he will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're gonna talk about if you think, is this roster enough to be a contender?
No. Yes and no. Yes and no. Do I think they can beat anyone if they're fully healthy? I do believe that, including the Thunder. I think if they play the Thunder and actually play their best rotation, they could potentially beat them. I think they're too dependent on the old guys, though. And I think the reality is they'll wear down over time. If it has to be this much Steph and Jimmy to continue winning, I think they run out of gas. So, trade deadline is going to be huge. Like if you can move Kuminga for a player who fits more. I know everyone wants like Trey Murphy on the Pelicans, but like if you do something like that, then maybe they have enough. But it feels like there's just a little too much dependence on the old guys every night. Yes, and I think the issue is it's not that the old guys can't compete with the young guys. It's like what happens to old guys? Like over time, they just get hurt. It's like last playoffs is a perfect example. I think they beat Minnesota if Steph doesn't get hurt. But why did Steph get hurt? Because he had to play 45 minutes a game in the previous round. So, it kind of gets back. It's a chicken or the egg, but ultimately it's the same point.
I agree. You said Trey Murphy. Do you think there's another realistic target for them to get?
I think it's too early to say. I don't think so like we know the Kings are going to probably make some trades, but there's no one on the Kings that really makes sense for the Warriors. Just with the salary cap and everything, like that's an issue, we know that Dallas is going to make trades. Anthony Davis, that would be difficult to do without trading Draymond, which then changes everything. But maybe someone like PJ Washington, he's not as good as a Trey Murphy offensively, but he's he's an upgrade to the front court. He can shoot, he can defend. I'm trying to think of what other teams, because like what it's really going to come down to is which teams are of the mindset that it's time to kind of reset. So we know those ones. We know those ones are for sure going to explore it in January. We'll see. Maybe Chicago explores it. Like Io on Chicago or Kobe White are guys of interest. But I'm not convinced they're going to. They're playing too well right now, and they're one of those teams that never really makes a trade. They always talk about it, but they never do. So I don't know. Those are the ones that come to mind. Like in a perfect world, they get someone who's over 6'7", who can shoot the ball and who fits into their system.
That's pretty tough to find.
It is tough to find. They've been that's why they keep trying with Kuminga, because he has the physical attributes, and you never know if like the breakthrough moment's going to come. But here we are.
Year 5, no, for Kuminga, or 4?
5.
It's been 5 years, man.
He's very young. I mean, he was only 18 when they drafted him, so there's a little like he's younger than your normal year 5 player. I can see how he's attractive to a rebuilding team who just wants young talent to see if they, if we give him 35 minutes, what can he be in the next 2 years? And maybe it makes sense for Dallas. Maybe Dallas is, now they've got rid of Nico.
Shout out Nico.
Obviously, Cooper Flagg's good. Now they just want to get players who are closer to Cooper Flagg's age and just kind of see what happens over the next couple of years. I don't know if Kuminga is the right fit, but I could understand them wanting to, explore it, right? Like it's one of those things where you're like, well, let's see what happens. Makes more sense for them than the Warriors, who have a more immediate goals right now.
I agree. People in the chat saying Dylan Brooks. What do you think about him?
I mean, he's good, but he's just so similar to Jimmy and Draymond. He's not a great shooter. I know he shot the ball well last year, but he's another one of those guys who does a little bit of everything, but doesn't really want to score the ball very much.
Yes.
I think you could do worse than him, though. I think you do worse than Dylan Brooks. He wouldn't be terrible for them. They would annoy the hell out of opposing teams. Dylan Brooks and Draymond together would be they would be under everyone's skin.
Yeah. Teams will hate us. Well,
they'd be like a 1980s Serie side, fouling everyone at all stages of the game.
To close this one out, we asked every guest the same question: is where do you think the Warriors end this season? What seed do they end?
Championship, obviously. No.
Okay,
what seed? I think they're going to be the 4 or 5 seed.
Okay.
They clearly want to avoid the play-in. I don't think there's any chance they're going to get up to the 1 or the 2. It looks like the Thunder are going to win 70 plus games, And some of these teams, but I think after you get past the Thunder and the Nuggets, everyone's going to probably be around 50 wins. And I think there's a very realistic shot they can get to like that 4 or 5 seed. I think that's the goal. If they can get first round home court, that'd be the dream scenario.
Okay, I agree. They gotta avoid the playing at all cost because, as you say, they are very old, and having to play extra games gonna cost them.
And just get a worse matchup in the first round, And I do think you look at them right now, they have the hardest schedule in the NBA, and they're still above 500. They're gonna have a lot of home games against a lot of average teams when it gets to like December, January. And I would not be surprised if they went, like they go like 12-2 over 14 games, or they win like, they go on one of those runs to really catapult up. So I think they're in, it's too early to worry about that, but I do think that, pending good health, there's a very good chance they'll be the 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, I agree. The early should have been brutal for us. Shout out Adam Silver.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a 6-game road trip right now. And that's the longest road trip they have all year, which sucks. But also, it's nice to get it out of the way now. It's better now than in March, I guess. So I think it's one of those things, like to your point, as long as they survive this stretch, they're in good position to really kind of rocket up the standings later.
I agree. Well, Sam, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I said earlier,
anytime.
It's an honor. I really like talking to you, reading you on Twitter, and listening to your podcast. It's amazing to have you here. Very thankful.
Awesome, Mateo. I appreciate everyone in GSWL. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.